Back in Tucson, Arizona, WPH Race for 8 and the Senior Tour, the guys are on right now as Marco Chavez and Dan Armijo are going to go up against each other here in this men's 40 semifinals clash. We're getting ready for this match. We're going to take just a quick break, 60 seconds, and we'll be back to catch the opener here. We want you to stay close on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.
The Tucson Racket and Fitness Club is your home away from home. Work out, relax, and refuel. All this and more can be yours. Call us at 795-6960 or visit TucsonRacketClub.com. The Tucson Racket and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
Back in Tucson, Arizona for the start of this men's 40s semifinals. In the lower bracket as Marco Chavez goes up against Dan Armijo. Marcos is also one of the Elite 8 members, but he's been beaten down so far in this tournament, and that gives a little favor to Armijo, who's playing out of his mind right now as a 53-year-old, been on the Pro Tour, he said, for over 30 years now. Dan turning around, serving left-handed here. And there's a point for Dan. Certainly think people thought that Andy Shad would be facing Marco Chavez here in the 40s, but it just didn't happen that way as Andy got defeated last night in a close one, 25-23 against the hand. Marco Chavez, our current #1 ranked 40-year-old. If he does get by Armijo here, he's going to have to probably go up against Nadi Alvarado, who is also a ranked elite player. Could have taken the invite in the regular pros. Nadi Alvarado not happy with not being ranked #1 with the elite guys, so he found a bracket that he can be #1 in. I guess being ranked 3rd is such a bad thing for him that he has to switch brackets.
Three serves 1.
There's a nice revolving door kill shot there from Marco Chavez. It's a 1-game match to 25 for the senior players.
Right out.
Armijo is one of our
short ball
cartoon characters in the game of handball.
Second serve.
Probably do a documentary on his life.
Point.
It'd be a pretty interesting one. I don't know how many people would watch, but the only showing that they'd have would be about 4 in the morning someplace.
Side out. 4 serves 2. The footfall. Second serve. Side out. 2 serves 4.
This referee doesn't need a microphone. He just can yell it all the way to the parking lot.
Point. Three serves 4.
Dan Armijo serving here. Marco Chavez returning the serve. You see a lot of adverse age groups in this 40 plus. We have some 50-year-old players. We have guys that are 39 just ready to turn 40 in this calendar year. Guys that are in their mid to late 40s, early 40s. You don't see that in all the age groups like this. That's a 53-year-old man going down to the ground there, but just not getting back up again after he hit that shot.
5 serving 3.
Armijo dives for that ball and then says to the referee after about 30 seconds after the play was over, is it too late to call that double bounce?
Point.
Marco Chavez now scoring another point here at 6-3.
6 serves 3. Check it, please.
Look at that beautiful shot right there from Dan Armijo. He was all twisted around. He decided to wait for that ball to come off the back wall, let it drop, and hit it 1 inch high right in front of Marco Chavez. 3-6 is the score here. Armijo now living in Yuma, Arizona. It's right on the border of California and
6 serving 3.
Arizona and Mexico. That was such a terrible call if that referee's calling that good. Boy, that's... You could instant replay it if you want to, and he is serious, and let's go to replay if we have it. That ball was so short that I know that one of these players is going to come into our booth area here, but if we had the replay, I can confirm it. I saw it short, obviously, on the serve, so it's going to be on the serve for our director back home. So we have to go all the way back to the beginning of the serve. I saw it short when it happened. And nope, it was Marco Chavez serving, I believe. Oh, it's just the last play, whatever the last play was.
Short ball.
There we go. Now we got it right. Go back to where it first crosses the line. Yes, short by 4 inches. And the referee's making the right call here.
No point. Short ball. Second serve. 6 serving 3.
First time instant replay was used in.
Bad bounce. It's bad bounce. Yeah, it did. Bad bounce. Take 2.
Now, we were at a tournament a couple weeks ago where we had instant replay in effect, and none of the players used it.
Side out.
Here, we don't have instant replay in effect, and one of the players uses it.
3 serve 6.
But that's what you expect in the sport of handball.
Side out. 6 serves 3.
Since we're now using instant replay, the players, they have one replay to use per game.
Point.
And if they use it correctly, they can keep using it again.
7 serves 3.
So if you use it incorrectly, you now have no more appeals to the replay booth. But if you
Side out.
use it successfully, as Dan Armijo knew that that ball was short, he knew that video was not going to lie.
3 serves 7.
He gets to keep using video replay until he does it wrong.
Side out. Seven serves 3. Point. 8 serves 3. Point. 9 serves 3. Point.
And there's a timeout called from Dan Armijo here. It's a one-game match to 25, win by 2. We're going to take a quick 60-second break. We'll be back in just a few minutes for the senior WPH Race for 8 Tour, as we'll have more handball in about 45 seconds. Stick with us.
In 1905, Thomas Beverly Pennock settled out west to start a family construction business. Over 100 years and 5 generations later, T.B. Pennock & Sons continues on today. From our world-class concrete at the San Diego airport to our recovery efforts in New York after Hurricane Sandy. We take pride in what we build, and we will never forget who we build for. We are T.B. Pennock & Sons.
Ahern Rentals is the largest independently owned and operated rental business in the United States. We are proud to maintain outstanding working relationships with over 100 manufacturers, including JLG, Skyjack, Genie, Kubota, Multiquip, Honda, and many more. From coast to coast, Ahern Rentals is here to service your equipment rental needs. For a complete list of locations near you, please visit us at www.ahern.com or call 1-800-400-1610.
Point.
Now we're back in after that quick timeout from
12 serves 3.
our referee. 12-3, Marco Chavez serving here to Dan Armijo.
Side out. Three serving 12. Side out.
You're watching this live action
12 serves 3.
on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. Handball is played by handball players of all ages.
Point.
At our recent national championship, they had age 9,
13 serves 3.
had a 90-year-old. It's a lifetime sport.
Point.
It is brutal, it is physical, but these players are infected with wanting to
14 serves 3.
play handball and
Good ball.
come down weekly to spar. Everyone's always trying to improve their games. It's so fun to play that you get a great workout and it's fun at the same time. And these guys combined age closer to 100. And they're still out here playing top-notch competitive handball. Oh, look at that corner kill right there. Beautiful shot from Marco Chavez and a
Halftime. Take 3.
high five from Dan Armijo, and there's going to be a 3-minute break. We're going to take that right now. We'll be back. More handball action in 3 minutes here in Tucson, Arizona on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
The Tucson Racket Club is your home away from home. Join us for world-class tennis, handball, racquetball, and the new rage, pickleball. Or try one of our 160 weekly group exercise classes. Want to swim laps or play with your family in the pool? Enjoy our 2 junior Olympic-sized pools and wading pool that are open year-round. Then round out the perfect day with a delicious meal at our restaurant or sports bar. All at the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
We're back into it here in Tucson, Arizona. Conclusion of game number 1 with Marco Chavez and Danny Armijo. Chavez in the lead, obviously. You're watching ESPN, the Watch ESPN app. My name is Dave Vincent. Men's 40-plus senior tour looks more like a world or national championship when you look at the roster. Names like Chris Watkins and Marco Chavez, Nadi Alvarado, Dan Armijo, Andy Shad. We even have a Natali sighting in this bracket with Vinny Natali in the 40s. So it's a testament really to the Pro Tour having these guys. Bear Myring, who lost earlier today to Chris Watkins. Also in the bracket, one of the top 40-year-old players. So our players are now looking for their referee, and I'm sure this happens in all the sports where the home plate umpire is just forgot that he was actually reffing a match. Some of these referees, they've been around the game a long time, but they don't realize that at 15, the players have a 3-minute break. They see that 15 score and they think it's, maybe 5 minutes or even that the game's over. They just say, well, maybe it's over now, or I'm going to leave and go outside and enjoy this weather. It's not how it works. So we're waiting for that ref to get here. These guys could actually start playing now if they wanted to.
Play. 15-4.
Score 15-4.
Side out. 4-15. Side out. 15-4.
Referee has changed. We now have Shorty Ruiz reffing the second half here.
Serve.
Even though this says game one on the scoreboard, it's really just one game. It's one game match. I know that's almost like an oxymoron phrase, but that's what it is. Dan Armijo half dives in, does a Courtney Pachot there on that dive, and
16-4.
Oh, look at that left-handed kill
Right
shot.
out.
It's very rare for us, but we do have a Nadi Alvarado siding. He is
4-16.
going to step into the booth here really quickly as he prepares for his semifinal match. Nadi Alvarado, long time, 22-year professional career on the Pro Tour. Welcome in, Nadi.
Thanks, Dave.
You have some great stories to tell about guys like Dan Armijo. You've been around the game for such a long time. Of course, you traveled as a kid and watched your dad play at these tournaments when he was a top player.
Side out.
You've got great stories to tell.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you also have these stories, you know,
16-4.
against guys like Marco Chavez or Dan Armijo when it comes to on-court play and saying, you know, they do have game, these guys.
They do.
Fine.
Each of them possess a different skill set. You know, Dan Armijo tracks balls down like really no one else, and then you got Marcos, who's a fly kill specialist, you know,
Second serve.
from the big ball that he's been playing lately. But like you said, they have special crafts, and they know how to play the game.
And it seems like you're
Side
kind of
out.
doing the same exact thing that you did 20 years ago, and that is warming up for your next match by watching other
4-17.
matches. And that's where you've probably watched as much handball as anybody else, but you wouldn't get credit for it. But you do it when you're warming up. And watching these guys, you had to say to yourself, when Dan Armijo took that ball off the back wall with his left and he hit it 2 inches high, yeah, I've seen that.
I have, yeah.
17-4.
30 years now.
No, there's been some spots where you thought you had Dan out of the point, and he makes that left hand like revolving door rollout right in front of you. It's kind of funny.
It's actually the hardest shot in handball,
is.
and yet you've seen him do it so many times. And when you think back to yourself, when was the last time I went revolving door with my left and hit it 1 inch high? And you think about it and go, well, maybe last week I might have did it
18-4.
one time. Dan does it 2 or 3 times a match.
Yeah, he actually does. It's at 53 you start to not move as well, and that's kind of like a desperation play, I think, by him. And it works though, because he gets
Hold
to
it.
extend himself out and really get the ball pushed in front of him, which is what you're supposed to do on a back wall shot, which is perfect execution.
Back to you.
Next one, Armijo, I'm going to call it an avoidable.
Ooh.
Oh,
Cross the shot on the next one. I'm going to replay
I
that one.
thought there's no warnings for avoidables, and that's
18-4.
an automatic fine
That's true.
in the rule that was just sent out to your.
Point.
Do fines ever get paid?
No.
That's the bigger question.
19-4. Short.
I wish you kept a list of the fines you've assessed.
Well,
Second 4.
when I get thrown in
Second
jail
serve.
for embezzlement, I'm gonna take off.
Point.
That's a big ball shot there.
I'll prove that I still am owed money. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, fair enough.
24.
We're going to 25 here. It's a one-game match to 25, and it's 20-4. Marco Chavez wearing the blue shirt.
Side out.
Yeah, I've seen that shot. It's amazing what Dan Armijo can do with his left fist hand. I mean, it's just a good shot.
420.
Now, did you find yourself, now you're in the 40s, do you find yourself that you can still learn?
420.
Oh, yeah. Even from today's match, the gentleman, most of us have not ever heard of, but, he had this unique shot that he would make, while extended out. So it's just kind of these things that more like a fundamental approach, which is important.
24.
Yeah, okay.
Just
So
keep it
you're not
basic.
saying to yourself, I need to learn how to do that shot. I just
No.
need to learn not to hit it there and just
Well, no. Actually, to hit it, once you get in that spot, to make sure you rely back on fundamentals, because it's the hand hitting the ball and executing the shot, and that's exactly what he was doing. So it just, you watch the other guys and kind of try to feed off it. And
these are things that you might already know, but you just sometimes they kind
420.
of leave and you're thinking about other things.
a little refresh button
Yeah.
on the computer screen.
Well, it's interesting when you play these hybrid big ball players that they
out.
got certain things that you go, I haven't seen anybody ever try to do that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Not that
Yeah.
you want to try to do it yourself,
24.
but you say to yourself, oh, I have to change kind of my approach here.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's some shots in the front court that big
out.
ball's really helped out with, and then there's some shots in the back of the court that big ball actually hinders you.
420.
Yeah, it's true. We have the
Hold it.
lucky opportunity to catch Nadi Alvarado Jr. here. Nadi, you are an Elite 8, but you decided to flip over and play
420.
into the 40s, which you did a few years back, and then last year you dedicated off and on. And
Point.
Yeah. I just didn't feel ready after October, the U.S. Open. I felt really tired mentally and both physically, and I just wanted to
520.
kind of rest this portion of the year.
Short.
So 2015, who knows? Won't commit to anything.
Second serve.
It's a nice picture.
There's another point now for Dan the Hand Armijo.
620. Point.
You've played against Dan Armijo for many years. I mean, how could you not?
Yeah.
Probably early rounds, and you have an incredible record against him.
Yeah.
I would say your only loss would have been when you were in your
720.
teens, if you ever did lose.
I did. I lost to Dan in Baltimore. I think it was
Side out.
93 or 94, but that was the last time. But yeah, I don't forget that match.
27.
Well, we've all lost against. We've all beat
Yeah.
him, but we've also lost against him, and it's because
Point.
he can make elite shots and play like an elite player, but then
21-7.
Yeah.
doesn't seem to get that. There's one little extra step that he's never been able to get past.
Yeah.
But he has some of the best wins. If you were talking about somebody that's got wins,
He's got a lot of them. He does.
we've sat down and talked over the years, and he
21-7.
started naming names. It's pretty impressive.
No, he's beaten just about everybody, I think. I mean, I think
Point.
maybe there's one or two that or maybe three that he hasn't beaten. In our era, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I don't think he's defeated Dave Chapman.
No.
I know he did
22-7.
not defeat Paul Brady.
Right.
But after that, he's nibbled on everybody.
Yeah, he's got
really.
he's got a little piece.
I think he even beat your dad one time.
Yeah,
which
that
is
was
rare to say.
Nebraska. I forget the year on that one, but
23-7.
maybe 89, 88. No. 90, something like that. In the third place match.
I was, just trying to be a smart aleck once, and I said, I bet you've never beat Bo Belinsky. And then he goes, Chicago, 1986.
I was thinking about Bobolinski.
Just strange things like that. Where,
7-23.
he remembers exactly what tournament. We're at 7-23. He is certainly a character in
Side out.
handball.
Oh, yeah.
So is Marco Chavez.
He is. They're both kind of opposite in their entertainment category, though.
23-7.
Every now and then you'll see Marcos kind of bait you into hitting a kill shot at him, and that's something you really don't like to do.
How smart is Marco Chavez from the standpoint that you guys, let's just say you're both in the Elite Eight, you're both over 40, and you're having to grind out a round of 16 match to advance to the eights, or even 8 going to the semis.
27.
And you have to say to yourself before the match starts, now I've had this conversation with Paul Brady recently. He says, I really don't want to play Marcos because he is that guy that does some things that
It's different.
it kind of annoys you.
It is. It's a different
7-23.
play, different spins, a lot of different angles you're taking with him. It is uncomfortable. Paul makes a good point there.
Point.
I think he respects the old Marco Chavez back when he was in his 20s when he was training back then.
Yeah.
Certainly dangerous.
Point.
Marcos finds himself here just 2 points away from advancing.
9-23.
And Nadi, you're going to get ready for your match against Chris Watkins, and we're going to let you go. I know that you have to go finish that up. So we'll talk to you. Thanks for stopping in really quickly here on ESPN.
Enjoyed it.
As you always do. Nadi Alvarado is going to face one of his best friends, Chris Watkins. It's been a really strange tournament for matchups from players that play each other back home or at least in the same region.
Side out.
This tournament has Nadi Alvarado going up against Chris Watkins, who play out of the same club. We have 4 guys in the Elite Eight that play out of the same club. And then 2 more that come from Ireland. That makes 6 out of 8 that have strange matchups. And then in the women, Ashley Moeller, formerly of the Tucson Racket and Fitness Club, as well as Courtney Pachot and Tracy Davis, 3 out of the 4 top women in the semifinals, all playing out of the same club here at one point in their careers. So there's some strange matchups there as well. You're watching the Race for 8. This is the senior tour that's above 40. If you celebrate a 40th birthday in a calendar year that we hold the tour, you're allowed to play, even if you're 39 years of age. You see Nadi Alvarado and Marco Chavez and Dan Armijo and Andy Shad and great names like Bear Myrene and Chris Watkins all flying out here to participate in this 40 tour. And some of them still have ranking points when it comes to those elite players in the power rankings with the WPH. So they're crossing over. And then you have Dan Armijo here, 43 years of age. Been on the pro tour since, 30 years. or more. He said he's heading into his 35th year on tour. He's been in these pro qualifiers trying to get into the pro tour with the WPH off and on. We see him probably about 4 or 5 stops throughout the year.
23-9. Point. .24, match point, place 9. Short. Second serve. Game.
And there it is. This one ends, and the next one will begin as Nadia Alvarado and Chris Watkins are reported to play at 3 o'clock here in Arizona, and they're going to be up next. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. More handball action around the corner. Stick close here on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app.
The Tucson Racket and Fitness Club is your home away from home. Work out, relax, and refuel. All this and more can be yours. Call us at 795-6960 or visit TucsonRacketClub.com. The Tucson Racket and Fitness Club, where Country Club Road ends and fitness begins.